Welcome everyone. By far the most we've had in any school committee meeting in 3 years. I call this meeting to order. I don't think, do I need this? Can you hear me? Okay. So I call this meeting to order. We met for executive session for 15 minutes for the purpose of non-union discussion, non-union negotiation. Now we go into the regular meeting. The first item on the agenda is always public comment, and as this is Mr. Bernard's last official school committee meeting, I hope we have some members of the public here to say something about Mr. Bernard. All time. Okay. No. Anybody? Mr. Laney, would you like to talk?
I don't know if I can. No, we do. Say name and address.
Sure.
Same thing as the select board. Sean Lane's 7 Dix Road. I think I know a lot of people in the audience. But John, it's, I guess, bittersweet. As principal, now as superintendent, and we have to do a couple of short weeks. I met John a number of years ago. I sent my son, my wife and I sent him to Austin Prep for middle school, and John kept on calling me, knocking on the door, bring him back. Brought him back to high school in the best 4 years of my son's life. And then my daughter came along, started high school 2 years after my son did. And my daughter had some difficulties going to high school. And John was the one who kept saying, it'll get better, trust me. And I must tell, John knows this, but I'll tell everyone in the audience that if it wasn't for the programs that John put in place when he was high school principal and continued those as he was superintendent, my wife and I truly, honestly feel that my daughter may not have graduated high school, and we are uncertain whether or not we have it with us today. But through the effort of the North Reading school system, North Reading High School, John Bernard is principal and superintendent. I'm happy to say that I graduated high school as a freshman at college this year. John, that's because of you. My daughter's just one example of thousands throughout this community of kids who've been here that have stories like tonight. And then I got to know John on a professional level as I was on the board and we were working through the school, secondary school building project. We worked very closely together with John and I. There is no better person in human being that I've encountered in my professional life, as a parent, and as a former member of the North Reading Board of Selectmen. John, wish you nothing but the best as you go out in your retirement. It's well deserved. Thank you from the bottom of my heart as a parent, as a resident. Really appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you, John. A couple events that I'd like to highlight too. I'm Jeff Simons. Both my kids went through the high school. My son Nate had a developmental disability, and John came into the high school the first year together. So we've been together pretty much for your whole career. So it's been fantastic. And your support of inclusion at the high school and the community that you enabled there at the high school was incredible for Nate's success. Our middle school experience was less than ideal, but our high school experience was just amazing. And Nate, related to that too, I want to thank you for your support of the co-op wrestling team, which started when you were the principal. Nathan was one of the premier members of that team, the three pioneers that started working with all the athletes from Linfield primarily, and eventually turned into really more of a North Reading dominated program. But that was excellent, built tremendous confidence, athleticism, teamwork, and both of those things really helped Nate develop and form friendships, and that was just amazing. You're just fantastic now, working full-time at Children's Hospital, living independently in Coolidge Corner, and John, you're absolutely instrumental in his success through the high school years and what he's become. Another thing I want to mention too, I shared a video with you earlier. You also allowed us to bring a student from France to North Reading High School through American Field Service, AFS. And I really appreciate the support of AFS. We're still in touch with Alize, who never knew that your first name was John. You were always Mr. Bernard. So when I spoke to her over the weekend and asked her to put together a little thank you to you, which I shared with you, the experience of AFS was very important for her. It really changed her life. And my whole family, my daughter Marina, so they were classmates together. Alize's kept a lot of North Reading friends. Our families have gotten together. It just made a big difference in relationships between the little neighborhood in France where Alize's family lived and the United States. That's the whole point of AFS. So I really appreciate your support of that program as well. And lastly, in my work with you on the school building project to get the high school and middle school, you are absolutely instrumental in terms of building public support. Anytime that you spoke, parents, community members, when they heard you say that you needed something that was really important for the education of the students, they believed you the second you said it. And I think your demeanor and your support and your participation in the high school, middle school building project was absolutely instrumental in its success. So thanks for everything. Good luck in your retirement. Really going to miss you. Thanks, John.
Tricia Colella, used to be North Reading, Rogers Street Road, born and bred North Reading. I first met John, I was a member of the school committee for 2 terms. I first met John when I was on the search committee for a new high school principal. One of my first memories of him was us visiting him at Saugus High School and seeing how the students at Saugus High School reacted to him, and having students walk up to me as a member of the North Reading School Committee and saying, please don't take him away from us. And sorry, Saugus. And he came to us, as you all know, in 2003. I was fortunate enough, again, I left the school committee and immediately went to the high school council as a parent. My daughter graduated in 2006. And after my daughter graduated, John asked me to stay on as the community rep. I stayed on as the community rep, officially, unofficially, whatever, until I sold my house and moved 3.5 years ago. Like I said, I was born here. I graduated from North Reading High School. Before school committee, I was the chair of the elementary school building committee. There was the little school, the hood school, the Swan Pond batch wars, the trying to get the high school, middle school projects moving, and the thing that I am the most proud of as far as an accomplishment in my terms on all of those committees was hiring John. He's become a friend. I'm proud. And I'm happy to call you my friend. You know where to find me. Stephanie sends her love and her thanks for everything that you did for her when she was a student at North Reading High School. Stay in touch.
Hi everyone, Michael Frisco, 12 Bishops Way, also a former member of the Select Board. I had the privilege over the 9 years that I was on the board to sort of go through, I think, 3 superintendents. And when we had Captain Willis, it was very impressive. She was a pretty amazing superintendent. When all of us were very concerned when she left, including myself. And John, when you came on board as a superintendent, it was amazing. We really thought, boy, we thought we had the best, and you just took us to the next level. When you really look at, since the time you arrived as superintendent, putting aside everything that you achieved during high school, and I hope more and more people talk about your successes and the wonderful things you did during your high school time, but being as a decision maker, being in those rooms with you in the late evenings, that people don't see the things that you did for this community. You look at the school that you were in, our high schools, the schools, the way they looked when you first got into the superintendent, the way we are today. You know, that didn't happen at all these public meetings. Most of that stuff happened in the evenings on Tuesday nights, and Wednesday nights, and Thursday nights, and even over the weekends. To recall, many of us stuck in conference rooms at 5:30, 7 o'clock on a Saturday evening, doing better for our schools and for our children. And it's the little things that the people don't see, that I got to see, which was so wonderful. The things that are integrated in every one of these schools that you may not see necessarily every day, but they keep our children safe. They put programs and structures in place for the future of our children. Even though John's going on, the infrastructure that you're leaving in place, your footprint on every one of these schools will keep our children educated in a 21st century environment. Our schools are safe because of the work that you and your team that you pushed, always taught about safety. We missed all that as we go through. But in those budgets, those many budget hearings where we fight, you always fought hard for your schools. And I want to thank you. You're true professionals working together. It always looked at it was us against the school committee. You get 66% of the budgets, right? But you know, last year was a very, very difficult year for the town government side. I want to thank you for that year because we needed your rescue. You rescued us. I want to thank you for that. It was very, very important what we did for the town last year. Not many people know that, but we only balanced our budgets last year because the school and the school committee was so willing to put aside the plans that you have in place in your NRPS 2021. Put that aside for 1 year. And I hope that, Patrick, as you go forward, I hope the select board steps up this year, does the right thing, and to put them back on track, because you put the brakes on for us, and I want to thank you for that. That was under my tenure, helped me get that budget over the goal line, and that meant a lot to me, and I'll never forget it. So thank you.
Hello, Jerry Venezia, former school committee member. I had the privilege of working with John for 16 years, 12 years as the principal of the high school, and 4 years as the superintendent of schools in North Reading. And I tell the story, so a lot of you might have already heard it, but when John came to the high school, there was a very polarizing principal there before him. We'd gone through 5 years of a principal that, quite frankly, has alienated a lot of the constituency, students, staff, faculty. And John came in right after she left, and John basically changed the entire culture of the high school. He brought everybody together, and he continued to do that not only the entire 12 years that he was principal, but also during the time that he's been superintendent. John had a knack for getting to know students, and certainly knew every single student at the high school. I think the high school, we had over 800 students there, and I think John knew everybody's name, who their family was. My daughter, her freshman year, was on her second day of school walking between classes with a girlfriend of hers. And she comes home and she says, Dad, I'm walking to class, and this man in a suit came up and he said, hello, Bridgie, how's everything going? And he's doing okay. And she didn't know who he was. So the principal knew who my daughter was on the second day. My daughter didn't know who the principal was, which doesn't say much for my daughter. She did graduate. But that's just how John was. I happened to chairman when Kathy Willis informed us that she was going to be leaving as superintendent. And I said to John, are you interested in this job? And he said yes. And basically, from that point on, I never had an issue with anybody else for that job. I knew he would be perfect for it. I did say at Kathy Willis's retirement party that the school committee pledged to do a worldwide search to find the best candidate, and instead we just chose John Burnett. But believe me, he chose the right guy. So I think, John, we're going to miss you. I know Patrick's going to do a great job. He's got everything in place. You've got the administrative team of this school department for a number of years now and continuing right now is the heart and soul of this school department. You know, the school committee does their thing, everybody else does their thing, but the administrative team really was pulled this school department together. I was surprised when I heard John was leaving, and then I realized it was only weeks after Scott Buckley became chairman of the school committee. And I put two and two together, and I think John would have stayed another 5 years, but Scott, because I guess nobody else wanted to come to this. So again, John, we're going to miss you. We really are. Thank you. Everybody said it already, but thank you for everything you've done for the students, for the faculty, for the staff. You were great here. I'm glad we saw you away from soccer.
Your presence has been so valuable to our community in so many ways over so many years. And we all owe you such a huge debt of gratitude for your compassion, your caring, your leadership, your vision, your passion for education, your passion for doing what's right, the ability to collaborate and to work together with different committees is just unparalleled. And the trust that people have in you is so unique, I think, in your position. You reach across every table, you work with people in all, from all walks of life, and we've been able to accomplish so much in this community for education and for our entire community because of you. And I just don't, there's just no easy way to explain just how much you've meant to the community, to children, to education as a whole, but also just personally to my family. When I think about the fact that my son, who's going to graduate from college in May, recently had to answer a bunch of essay questions when he applied for the non-civil service exam, police exam in North Reading. And many of the questions were about the uniqueness of our community and tell us about your high school experience and what makes it special. And John Bernard's name came up, not in name, but my principal, my superintendent, he knew my name. He came to my events. He cheered us on. He was there for us. He welcomed us. That's awesome. That is amazing. That almost 4 years later, after he's graduated from North Reading High School, that he still feels that level of connectedness to someone who made a difference in his life. And I think that's pretty awesome. So I wanted you to know that. I'm sure you didn't know that, but he did, and it came up multiple times. My daughter Jennifer has graduated from Syracuse over a year now. And she suffered an injury, a concussion, her sophomore year of high school, and really went through some very, very difficult times into her junior and into her senior year. And as Sean had mentioned, when your child is struggling, but has so many ambitions and talents and still wants to do well, there needs to be someone who's always in their corner. And he was that person, supported her, helped us make exceptions, accommodations, and did whatever it took. And when I was really concerned about her personally, I would say, I just need for you, to reach out to Jen. Can you go find her today? And sure enough, he would do those types of things. I felt safe knowing that she was in a safe place, and that really matters. And I just know that your leadership team that you put in place is very much like that. And I just want to say to all of you sitting here with very young children, my kids went to public school, and you're in good hands because of the leadership and the vision and the compassion and the caring that started from the top and has worked its way down. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Didn't mean to preempt our chair over here, but I'm up here in two capacities. One is as a parent, and one is a public official who served for a number of years with probably 4 or 5 different superintendents, and had a lot of interaction with the school administration over the years, and Jerry can attest to that way back in 1990. Believe it or not, Jerry was fighting with the school committee over money. They were trying to get more to the town side rather than the school side. He doesn't talk about that. But truly, the person here is a parent. My wife Sue and I, this is really bittersweet because our oldest son Kevin went to private school for 2 years and came back to North Reading High School. He was kicking and screaming going to private school. Wanted to come back to North Reading. When Kevin came back to school, John was very instrumental in making sure that he just assimilated right back in quickly. Got him heavily involved in different. Kevin was an athlete anyway, but other organizations, the parent-teacher was the school council. They came back and said, "We're not asking to get into school council thing." So good luck to them. But it was very instrumental in Kevin getting back in and acclimated rather quickly. And to this day, I told him you were retiring. He goes, "How old is he?" But Kevin has a strong affection and appreciation for all that you've done for him. He's hoping to be able to go to your testimony, but he's not sure yet. But Kevin actually used John as a reference a couple of different times, and poor John was subjected to hours worth of interrogation. And his son's looking to get into law enforcement. Don't do John a favor, don't give him his name as a reference, because poor John had hours of interrogation about my son Kevin. And actually, that's some good things to say about him. But again, for Sue and I, what you've done for Kevin is instrumental, key. We have strong affections and appreciation for all that you do. From the town government side, again, every year we get into budgets and trying to figure out how we're going to balance the budget. And I can truly say that the relationship really is important when it comes to personalities. How do people work with one another? How can they reach across the table? How can they work it out with one another when they have differences of opinion? Like Frisco said, Jerry said, it's truly important. And the tenure as superintendent, even if you were principal of high school, when you said something, when you said you needed it, you meant it. You weren't shooting high, willing to settle for less, trying to compromise in the middle. You really meant it. It's so important, that people appreciate how you operated, and I, for one, certainly. And again, relationships in the community. I know, to Jerry's point, Jeff's point, you knew every single kid in that high school. And to this day, you have relationships with some of these people from 15 years ago. And these kids, of course, you hired some of them too, which was a good thing. But I have never heard a bad word about John Bernard in relation to professionalism, standing in the community, key to selling the new school. You're absolutely right, John. When you get up and you said something, it meant something. You weren't just up there making a sales pitch. You were telling the community what we need, why we need it, and how it's a good investment for the community, for the kids, and for the children. So what you've done for our community is invaluable, hard to replace. Patrick, a pair of shoes to fill in, and we wish you nothing but good health and a long, healthy retirement. And please stay in touch. And my guess is we're not done with the school yet, so you could have at least buttoned this thing up before you left. But again, I appreciate the work you're doing too. So thank you very much. Good health and long, happy retirement.
I'm here as a mom too, of a little crew going through the school right now, and as the chair of the select board, and bringing our congratulations on behalf of the board. And I'm not going to be redundant. It's difficult to quantify words the measure of your impact on the community. But you've heard a little bit about that, so we're so grateful to you for that. Grateful for your professionalism, just a wonderful example for all of us. And it's been a pleasure for us to get to know you during the time you've been dedicated here at been my pleasure to get to know you and work with you as a member of the board, as chair of the board. Even if our time has been spent on building litigation and budgets, it's still been a pleasure to work with you, as my colleagues have mentioned. And I think that I get to describe you. I think you're a true gentleman, and you're this perfect blend of peaceful but passionate leader for this community, for this school system. And I can't even explain to you over and over again, we've heard, my kids know you by name, and you know my kids by name. And it matters how you've led this system. It matters your example that you've led. And it's had such a tremendous impact. So we thank you for that. So, and your one flaw apparently is that you don't like to call snow days. We'll get to that in a second. However, on behalf of the board, we wish you much happiness in your next endeavor. Young man, farewell wherever you fare. And we have a little presentation for you. The TA can bring it up. This is interesting because it's a picture of the common with snow on it. Long after you're gone, we will not forget you, and hopefully you'll cherish the memories you had here. So thank you very much for your service. Would you like to take a picture with the snow and the kids?
That was the one snow day that you called.
Yeah, that was the one.
The one snow day.
Thank you so much.
Roberta.
Mr. Buckley, thank you. Good evening, Michael Gilberto, Town Administrator, and also parent of a first grader and a kindergartner. So I'll be brief, but to echo some of the things that were said earlier. John, you've been a true partner for in the school committee, select board, town and school society, if you will, sometimes they get referred to the point where I think that there is no division. We're all in the same team, pulling in the same direction. And I think you've always been a strong, firm advocate for the schools, but have always also understood the big picture, limitations on the town's resources, and the importance of there being balance. What we're delivering our services here in North Reading. So on behalf of all the town's employees, including the finance director, Liz, who I know you've worked closely with here this evening, congratulations and thank you for your service. Thank you very much.
I just want to say to all of you and everybody else that I was not fully prepared for tonight. To say the least, I'm very humbled. But suffice it to say that, and I will have more to say publicly in the next couple of weeks before I retire in January 1st. But I would just sum it up by saying that I feel very blessed that my work for what will be a little over 33 years has given me a lot more than I could have ever imagined. And I'm very grateful to this community for being so special to both my personal and professional lives. So thank you all very much. I want to acknowledge my successor, Dr. Daly, who's back in the room, who has my utmost confidence in carrying forward the good work that we have started. And I'm so proud of you, Patrick, and I'm happy for you. And may you experience half of what I have experienced in my work, and you'll be just fine. So good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight and for the comments, with the exception of Jerry, who took an unsolicited attack at me. I have a couple comments too. We have a little gift for Mr. Bernard as well. And I think what people don't always understand is the amount of personal sacrifice that it takes to be the superintendent. I mean, everybody in this room understands that we all only have so much to give, and we all have to decide where we put that time. And what people don't see is Mr. Bernard has given so much of his life to this community. I mean, he's here at night, he's here early, he's here at 5 or 6 in the morning every day. He stays at night, we keep him here, and it's a really tough job. It's a really tough job to do. You've provided so much of yourself to everybody here, and the job is tough. I mean, there's very little that you get thanked for. I mean, every aspect of the job is under constant criticism. There's very little good on the day-to-day that comes from it, with the exception of working with us. I mean, it's a really hard job to do, and he really has done it with such grace. And I'll be honest, like, I never even appreciated how hard it was until we started looking for another superintendent. I mean, we are blessed in North Reading to have a great administrative team here. We have wonderful principals, we have wonderful assistant superintendents and other staff that we work with. And when we started looking for a superintendent, you have no idea how difficult it is. I mean, there were candidates who literally have websites from their town up about them, where people post about them. There were YouTube videos of people getting into screaming matches with people at meetings, and it's just absurd what happens out there. And we are so incredibly fortunate to have the stability that we have here, and that all comes from, you know, Mr. Bernard, from the talents that he has, from who he is as a person. And so we are just so thankful for that. You know, I mean, your legacy will live on from the people that you have helped train here. Like you said, Dr. Daly and some of the other, you know, Michael and some of the other staff members that we have here are just tremendous. And, you know, as a member of the school committee, as a parent of 3 children in the school district, I thank you so much for your service. So,
I was going to make a joke.
okay.
No, I just want to say, I'm going to miss you terribly. It's been very nice working with you.
Yeah, I've only been on the school committee for a few months, but I've known John for a long time now. I'll try and top he knows everybody's name story really quickly. I didn't go to North Reading High School, even though I grew up here. I went to a private high school, and my graduating year was the year that John came to this town. My older brother never went to school with him, and yet John knew me before I knew him. The first time I met him, he said, "Oh, you're Pete's brother." I knew my brother a little bit. And that was it. And that focus, that memory, that attention to detail, and knowing that John is taking in everything he's hearing, and he's with you so completely at any given moment. That's what I've taken away most from our relationships. Thank you.
I would just like to say that I was sold a bill of goods. 2 years ago, I was thinking about running for school committee, and they said, "Yeah, run for school committee. It'll be great. With John there, you got nothing to worry about." Turns out we have nothing to worry about because of the great team that John has put in place. So we're so thrilled that Patrick is here, and Michael, who we work, probably work more closely with than anyone, and all the rest of the team. We feel very lucky that you put that team in place, and it's pretty obvious from the opinions that they have of you and that other people in the district have of you, how you've been so successful. And I've admired watching it, and I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to.
Thank you, Rich. And we have a little gift. Bernard, I don't know if you started the tradition, but if you serve on the school committee or certain roles here, you get a bowl when you retire. So I have a bowl for you as well, Mr. Bernard.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just like your keys.
I don't know if you want. Well, I take a photo later on. Take a photo later on. So, perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. rescind his resignation.
Patrick says no.
Okay, so now we move on to the student report before we get to the hood students. So we have Samantha Galvin here, class of 2020, present a report.
Hello everyone. So first I'm going to start off with notable academic matters happening at my school. So a lot of students are beginning to hear back from the colleges that they applied to early decision and early action, as well as PSAT scores came out today for the sophomore and junior classes, and many juniors and seniors are continuing to take the SATs over the weekend. Student council at North Reading High School has in-house training this Friday. We actually have a former student, Maddie Capizzuto, and she graduated in 2015, and she's coming to talk to us about how she used the skills that she acquired while she was on student council in her college career and her after college career. Interact Club at the high school is selling holiday candy treats during power blocks, and they've also been helping to rake leaves for local families in the town. We have a motivational speaker coming to school this Thursday to discuss anti-bullying. Her name is Jessie Funk. And also another motivational speaker, Michael Maruzzi, is coming to speak on Wednesday to community members about living as a quadriplegic because he was paralyzed when he was in high school on the hockey team. Finally, academic decathlon had a competition this week, and Mary Regan won several awards. Moving on to fine arts, Music Man started last Friday, and they had a show on Friday and a show on Saturday, and they're going to have a show this Friday and this Saturday. I went to see it opening night, and I really enjoyed it. They had the whole band incorporated into it. It was really, really well done. There are judges from the Massachusetts Educational Theater Guild coming to see it on this Friday and Saturday as well. And Allison Rapido decided to enter herself in a competition, which she presented a hair and makeup design and had to explain it to the Massachusetts Educational Theater Guild, but the results of that have not come out yet. Notorious School's a cappella group also got accepted into New England Voices, and this means that they can compete in a festival at the end of January. The high school concert is going to be the 19th. This is the annual holiday concert that they perform, and the middle school concert is also going to be Wednesday the 18th. Moving on to athletics, not too much has been going on because it's been the break in between fall and winter sports, but many of the teams are actively engaged in fundraising for the coming season, and we should be getting some results in the next couple weeks. Track has their first meet Wednesday, and swim team has their first meet this weekend. For the Thanksgiving game, North Reading ended up beating Linfield 21-19 in a very close game. And the senior class won the annual Powder Puff game 12-7, which was also a very close game that I got to be a part of. Hopefully by January there'll be some more positive scores to report. So for my example of student work that I decided to bring today, it actually wasn't work that I've done for a class, but it's work that I've done for a club that I'm part of. So I'm president of North Reading High School's Model United Nations Club, and it's pretty much my favorite club that I've ever done in high school. I even wrote my college essay about it, that's how much I love it. And so every year they pick a group of people to attend Harvard Model United Nations, which is a conference that occurs at the end of January. And I think a group of kids presented about attending that conference a few school committee meetings back. So basically, what you do in preparation for this meeting is you get assigned a country. So North Reading High School was assigned Austria, and then within that select group that's chosen to go, you get assigned a committee. So I was selected to be in the Economic and Financial Committee, and the topic that we're discussing this year is the economic impact of climate change. So basically, I have to represent Austria's views as if I was the ambassador from Austria about how they feel about the economic impact of climate change. And this year they changed what is typically done into something that I find really cool. We get to post on a blog that they specifically designed for Harvard Model United Nations for your committee, and you get to talk with students from schools all over the world who also represent countries from all over the world. And this happens before you even get to committee. And when you get to committee, the best experience ever because there's kids from just all over the world. There's so many different viewpoints, and that's why it's one of my favorite things to be a part of. I emailed Mr. Bernard the link to my position paper, which is the intro paper, which represents my views as Austria, and also a link to the website, which provides a bit more information about it.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments? And I know three of us at least were, you know, this weekend too? And we saw Music Man this weekend. It was incredible. And so it's
If you haven't seen it, go see it.
great. Yeah, there are some young
There's
students in
tickets
there as
as
well. So, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay. Sorry for keeping you, but after 33 years, you do get 45 minutes. So, Dr. McKay, thank you for hosting us.
Hello, and welcome to our annual Good School Committee meeting. I would like to welcome you all here. I'm excited to share some of the wonderful activities that we have been engaged in over this school year, as well as some ongoing initiatives that we've undertaken. Tonight, we will hear from our student council. We will learn more about our mathematics, data-driven decision-making practices, and enjoy a math activity together. Our first grade students will share their recently completed Holiday with My Family activity. And lastly, some members of our Good School Chorus will sing some of their holiday selections. So I'd like to begin, we've done this already, but I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Bernard and his final official school committee meeting, and I'm honored to be part of this event. I reflected a bit when I realized that it was your final one, and then I just said to myself, well, you made me speak at my first one over 20 years ago when I worked for John and Saugus. It's a lot to have a teacher come and do presentations here, and it takes some cajoling, and I appreciate that. I want to publicly thank you for all that you've done for the students and staff of North Reading and for Saugus. You're an amazing teacher. Yes, I had him for freshman English in 1988. Principal, yes, I worked under him in Saugus. Colleague, as we worked together on administrative council here in North Reading, and my boss again here in North Reading when we became superintendent. I have not publicly shared the dedication of my dissertation, and you're not even aware of this yet. However, it seems fitting to share a portion that was dedicated to Mr. Bernard given this event. So I'm fortunate to have so many amazing people in my life, and I'd like to express my gratitude to all of you, my family, my friends, and my colleagues. I appreciate your unwavering support and encouragement. Without each of you, I would have never been able to accomplish this task. Mr. John Bernard, you have been my mentor, a guide for my journey in the world of education from freshman English class to now, personally and professionally, for over 20 years. Your encouragement and support throughout my career has not gone unrecognized, and I could not have done this without you, so thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to introduce our Good School Student Council. So our Good School Student Council is, we have a leadership model here where we're trying to teach them a lot of skills, and we have two wonderful mentors for them. We have Mrs. Sherman, taking pictures and reading, and Mrs. Whitney Clary. So I want to publicly thank them for all their good work that they do with these kids.
The thing that I had to do is why I joined the student council. Hello, my name is Brian. The reason I joined the student council is because I wanted to be the person that the new kids can look up to. Also, I can help around the school and make sure that it's a place that everyone can do and not a place where kids want to fake sick if they don't want to. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sina Nickerson, and I'm going to talk to you about student council expectations. When you are in the student council, you must be trusted to follow certain expectations by signing something called the Code of Conduct, saying that you will follow a certain set of rules. First, student council members must show respect to all adults and other students by using respectful words and actions. It is not only important to be kind to people, but to respect them. Respect can be hard to earn, but doing the right thing, it can easily come to you. Second, student council members must be responsible for completing schoolwork and being a respectful member of the classroom. Student council members are people you can look up to, so if you don't do schoolwork and are not respectful, you will not be respected. Next, student council members
must work together to get the job done. If you work by yourself, you might not do as well as whatever you're doing, as in you will not finish on time or it will not be as well done. Student council members must maintain good attendance. If you are not at school at the right time or not at school at all, you can miss something important, like if you are starting a new topic at math or you are having an assembly. Also, student council members must resolve conflicts in appropriate ways. When you fight over something, someone will usually get hurt, versus if you talk it out, everyone is okay, mentally and physically. Student council members must demonstrate good character and citizenship. Good character and citizenship will promise great traits and respect from your classmates. And finally, student council members must regularly attend meetings and work hard to complete student council tasks and projects. If you want to be a member of the student council, you have to work hard to do the best that you can. Normally, a student council is just another classmate, but if they follow these rules, they will be someone to look up to.
Hello, I'm Bruce McLaren from the Hood School Student Council. I want to talk about the daily jobs that we do as student council. So as student council members, we have many responsibilities. At the beginning of the day, 3 members from the student council take the flag from the office and put it up in the big flagpole in the front of the school, and at the end of the day, take it down and fold it. Every week, we alternate the students that get to do the flag. Also, the student council does the announcements over the loudspeaker at the end of the day to update kids and teachers on what is happening outside and inside of school. We tell everyone when spirit days are happening and what to wear on specific days if you would like to participate. Other responsibilities that we have are to come up with ideas for spirit days and collect all donations from the students on those days. These are the many jobs that we do as student council members. Thank you.
Hi, I am Ariana Dimitri from the Hood School Student Council. A special task we do in Student Council is fundraising. It is important because we like to help our community and raise awareness for each charity. We meet as a group every month to discuss what fundraisers we will be working on, and how we are going to showcase it. Some ways that we showcase are by announcing over the intercom, we make posters and hang them in the hallways, and we have spirit days to kick it off. The first fundraiser we did was juvenile diabetes. A student in our school has juvenile diabetes, so we wanted to bring attention to it and raise money to help find a cure. Our December fundraiser was Toys for Tots. We collected toys to help the less fortunate during the first week of December. Some future fundraisers are Alzheimer's Association, the Angel Fund, which supports ALS research at UMass Medical School in Worcester. The NR Food Pantry, Cancer Society, Youth Sports Safety, and a local shelter. Thank you.
My name is John Lupian, and I am a member of the Hood School Student Council. Toys for Tots is an organization that helps children in need during the holiday season. Toys for Tots has grown over the last 70+ years and now helps 7 million children each year. Toys for Tots raises money, buys toys, and has local toy collection campaigns. The Hood School is a toy collection site where we can drop toys that will be given to Toys for Tots. The North Reading Fire Department is another place where you can drop toys. Many churches and schools throughout the United States volunteer to be local toy collection sites as well. The members of the Student Council make announcements over the loudspeaker to our teachers and classmates, reminding them about bringing Toys for Tots so that we can collect as many as possible and help as many children as we can. Thank you, and happy holidays to all school committee members from the Hood School Student Council. Thank you.
A student in our school has juvenile diabetes and brought it to our attention that we should have a fundraiser. This fundraiser had students and staff wear blue and donate money. We raised over $200 for juvenile diabetes. So thank you to everyone who donated. You really helped with the cause. Earlier today, we made cards with the student council of the high school. We appreciate what we made veteran cards with the student council at the high school. We appreciate what the veterans are doing to keep us, our country, and us and our country safe. Hi, I'm Isabella Mazzoni from your student council, and my topic was Spirit Day. So the Spirit Days that we've had so far are Blue Day for juvenile diabetes, and we've also had Festive Outfit Day for any holiday you celebrate. And some ideas are school colors, which would be gold and green. Sports Day for your favorite sport. Group Day, so you would get in a group with your friends and you would pick a color day, which each grade would get a color, and we'll see how many people in the most grade participate. Crazy Sock and Hat Day. You can make your own or you could buy them. Pajama Day. And Sports Day. If you play a sport, you could wear what you would wear for sport, or you could just pick your favorite sport. And your favorite color day. Thank you. Hello, I'm Willow Kopke from the Hood School Student Council. Every year, our school does a book fair in the library. This year, some members from the Student Council helped out with the book fair by helping students and parents find books, shelve books, and take payments. Parents or students could also buy a gift card for their teacher to use for their class library. Other items we sold including posters, school supplies, and other prizes. Mrs. Craig makes the book fair fun by having an estimation guessing game for all students. This year, students had to guess how many cotton balls there were in a bag. There was one winner from each grade. Those students got to choose a poster of their choice. The book fair is a good way to raise money for our school. We are excited to help Mrs. Craig pick out new books for our Hood School Library. Thank you.
Thank you, well done.
Dr. McKay, what grade are they in?
Fifth.
All fifth graders?
All of the
Very, very, very poised.
Yeah.
You do a good job.
They do a lot. They're nice mentors for all the other students in the school as well, so we appreciate that. They do a lot of nice little charity fundraising things, so it's great. It keeps the school spirit alive too, so. Thank you. As we transition to math, I'd like to share a little bit of how we got here. For the past year, we've done some self-reflection on data analysis and how to improve some student outcomes. As we continue to perform at a very high level, specifically the 95th percentile, we must acknowledge that there's always a growth opportunity for everyone, as well as some huge successes. It should be noted that the Hood School staff, we were able to focus our attention on math achievement during this past year. In the previous year, the 18-19 school year, we received a score of 1 out of 4 in that domain. And we were able to leverage that score and get a score of 4 this past year. So we're very proud of this, all the work that's gone around behind it. I want to publicly acknowledge the work of our math leader, Mrs. Renee, as well as our data leader, Mrs. Hogan. So they've championed the success. They spent a lot of time listening to me talk about data, which people who work for me probably know that happens a lot. We get to be a lot at times, so I appreciate that. I asked a lot of questions about instruction, and we endured a nice long field trip to a school in Foxborough. as one of our dart analysis tools. Based on that visit and some other things, we've adopted some initiatives. So we have Maker Day, a specific focus. We have some book studies going on, specifically guided math, as well as mathematical mindsets. Geometry, we refocused on geometry and rearranged the delivery of instruction to include a whole school focus on geometry all at one time. So thank you for all your work on it. Mrs. Govane.
So we began this year with a geometry focus, and we began this year with a Maker Day that focused on math as well, geometry as well. So tonight we thought we would have 6 of our 4th graders engage our school committee members, along with Mr. Bernard, Mr. Conley, and Mr. Davey, if you'd like to join us, in a quick geometry activity. So we have, I'd like to introduce you, from Mrs. Hogan and Mrs. Crosby's class, we have Bryce Fitz and Anna Poyadelli. Come on over, guys. Jackson Wisco and Alicia Subramani from Mrs. Foreman's class. Burnham and Kelsey Quinn from my class. Getting up and joining us at the table. I know everyone's going to have to watch this. So geometry was our focus. We started out, so this is now, we've done line segments, we've done rays, we've done angles, we've done some angle measurements. So you are going to have an opportunity, things are going to lead, if you don't mind. They have their complexity, so go ahead, join them and don't. Stay home, tight. Oh, no, you can do that.
There you go, yes, sir. You start with that. Here's, I'm Scott. Right. Thought you left us for a minute.
I did.
Sorry about that.
So next, I would like to introduce a member of what we call our A team, our first grade teaching team. They are excellent, but all of their first names also begin with A. So this is Andrea Slavin and 6 of her friends. We have Mila, Henry, Marshall, Reagan, Lakshmi, and Taylor to share their activity. Holiday with My Family activity, and this activity directly aligns with our social studies curriculum. Come on up.
All right, so we're going to read all of our posters just to share and show how we celebrate our family traditions and our cultures. So all of these children happen to celebrate Christmas, but we do represent the first grade out of our 53 students 4 different holidays. So we celebrate Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah, and another family celebrates 3 days, also called Epiphany. So we're all going to share our holidays and traditions. Ready? Here, why don't you stand over here, Henry? I'll hold it.
Holidays with my family. There are 4 people in my family. We like to celebrate the holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas in the winter. Our family enjoys cooking and baking and celebrates when we
decorate cookies during the holidays. We like to eat the Feast of the Seven Fishes. Henry.
This is Henry Lyon. Great job, Henry. Next we have Taylor Griffin from Mrs. Wright's room.
There are 4 people in my family at home. We like to celebrate the holidays of Christmas and New Year's. In the winter, our family enjoys decorating the tree and celebrates when we spend time together. During the holidays every year, we like to watch the movie Elf. It is hilarious.
Yes, good job. This is Taylor Griffin. All right, next we have Mila Del Rossi from my class.
Holidays with my family. There are 6 people in my family house. We like to celebrate the holidays of Christmas in the winter. Our family enjoys being together and celebrates when we do activities during the holidays. Every year we like to bake cookies together.
Another round of applause for Mila Del Rossi. And this is Reagan Barstow from Miss Mayuski's.
There are 5 people in my family. We like to celebrate the holidays of Christmas. Our family enjoys decorating the tree. We celebrate when we put up the tree during the holidays. Every year we like to put cookies out for Santa.
Reagan Barstow, great job. And next we have Marshall from Miss Mayuski's class. Marshall.
There are 4 people in my family at home. We like to celebrate the holidays of Christmas. In the winter, our family enjoys our tree and celebrates when we give presents during the holidays. Every year we like to do kind things daily.
That's Marshall. Great job. Last Reynolds from Mrs. Wright's room.
There are 5 people in my family at home. We like to celebrate the holiday of Christmas and celebrates when a family enjoys visiting with family and celebrates when we open presents during the holidays. Every year we like to bake and watch movies and play with Legos.
And that's but they did a fantastic job, and this was a project they take home in the beginning of November, and a lot of them are either second children or third to go through the school, but some of them are also first kids to share this project, so it's an exciting time for us in first grade. So thank you so much for letting us join.
Thank you, friends. Good job.
First grade in Miss Slavin's class would like to give a little gift to Mr. Bernard. So it's Take It From Me, tips for a successful year from this year's class. They all gave you one piece of advice for your retirement. I'd like to share a couple. Welcome to retirement. One piece of advice I'd give to you is have lots of fun. Welcome to retirement. One other piece of advice I'd like to give you is eat a lot of pizza. This is words of wisdom from first grade.
Thank you, Ms. Lady. So I'm listening because our food school, Morris, is now setting up. So just give me a moment. like to introduce Ms. Camo and the Hood Schools Chorus.
Sneak peek of our concert next week. Everybody's, of course, invited to come next Monday at 7.
Let's get some lights. Let's get some bulbs. This place could use some shimmer. We'll hang some here. We'll hang some there. We'll hang somewhere they'll glimmer. Let's have the brightest brights. Let's have the lightest lights. Let's make it just as grand as it can be. Let's make it shine. Let's make it shine. Let's make it shine for all to see. Let's make it glorious. Oh, how lovely it will be. Away with blue, away with blue, away with drab, away with drab. Forget about depressing. Fill up the room, fill up the room, fill up the halls, fill up the halls. This place could use some dressing. Let's have the brightest brights. Let's have the lightest lights. Let's make it just as grand as it can be. Let's make it shine. Let's make it shine. Let's make it shine. Let's make it shine for all to see. Let's make it glorious. Oh, how lovely it will be. Let's make it glorious. Oh, how lovely it will be. Let's make it shine. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Camo and Hood Chorus. That brings our Hood School section of the school chorus. I'm here to answer your questions. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Drive safe.
Take like a 2-minute break. You're going to be going over school committee policies. If anybody would like to stay. They're in the group. Ideally.
One-on-one, yeah.
Go back into session here. Okay. Let's call the meeting back to order. We're going to go to continued business. We have the school committee policies. Mr. McGowan, would you like to lead again?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the school committee accept for second reading policy JIBB, Student Advisory Committee.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this one? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
And Mr. Chairman, I move that the committee accept the second reading policy JIBB-R, Student Advisory Committee Procedures.
A second? Any discussion on this one? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Or I should say 4-0. 4-0 on both those. Okay, going to the new business, we've already done the presentation. There's a proposal for a high school student council trip.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. So what you have in the packet is, this is kind of tradition, if you will, that the student council attends its state conference each year in Hyannis. The committee has seen fit in the past to support the group going for a couple of days. You see here March 4th to the 6th of 2020. I did have the opportunity to attend in 2018 and saw first, all the years I was a principal and would bring this trip forward, I never really experienced it until that year. So I happened to see firsthand what was going on with, there had to be, boy, I would say 1,000 people, 1,000 students and their advisors at this distinguishing conference. It was really quite impressive. So I feel even more confident saying to all of you that I would support your voting favorably on the proposal to attend again this year.
I only have one question. What exactly does it take to become the MASC Administrator of the Year? Not allowed in campaigning?
Apparently not very much. Right?
You have to get a custom-made book.
Any questions on
Yes.
this? Okay, hearing none, I can have a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the trip to Hyannis for the student council. Thank you.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0 passes. Okay, the boys hockey team trip. Bernard, did you address this?
Yes, thank you. So I'm sorry, I think it was the last meeting, November 18th meeting, the number that I had brought forward to you was not accurate. It did not have the right location. I think it said that the trip was going to be to Sandwich. And that was not the case. The number we have now, it's the same trip, same group and all. It's just I felt that because the location was incorrect in the action we took on November 18th meeting, that we should correct that way forward. So it's actually a trip to Falmouth, and they will be playing overnight in Falmouth, playing in Cleveland.
So is that a motion to amend or a whole new motion?
You know, it could be either. I think a motion to amend the action taken in November 18th is would work. So,
Okay. Let's make the motion.
I will make a motion to amend the action taken in November 18th, changes the location of the hockey trip.
Second?
Okay, more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Corporate sponsorship.
So, Mr. Chairman, and to all of you, this is a little bit unique, and so I felt that I should share with you this good news. So, Mr. Connolly and I have been in conversation with representatives of the Savings Bank, who we had reached out to them several years ago when we were kind of in the final stages of the new middle high school construction project. It was kind of a change in the plan for what the athletic fields would look like down below, specifically the multi-purpose field and the softball field. And the short story is we kind of reached back out to them and revisited their potential willingness to sponsor a new scoreboard at I should say a scoreboard. There is no scoreboard on the softball field. The long and short of it is, Michael and I had a very productive meeting back a few weeks ago, and they have actually expressed interest, the Savings Bank has expressed interest in sponsoring 2 scoreboards, one at the softball field where there is no scoreboard now, and then an upgrade / replacement of the existing scoreboard at the baseball diamond at Carey's Park. So Michael has done some nice work with a company to get a mock-up, if you will, of something. This is essentially where the thinking is right now on what the scoreboards would look like. So essentially the sponsorship would have it would constitute a sign advertising the savings bank to be attached as part of the design for the scoreboard that you see in the drawing. We think by splitting their donation, advertising or sponsoring both scoreboards creates a sense of equity that we think is important to have. And the policy that you have in your packet, school committee policy on corporate sponsorship, really, it does not, as I interpret it, does not require any action on your part. It kind of puts a lot on the superintendent as the designee of the committee to approve the sponsorship to make sure it fits into the stated guidelines of the policy, which I believe this sponsorship does. So as I said at the outset, we're really just informing you of this, and certainly if there was any objection, I would want to hear that. But right now, we're poised to move forward with ordering the scoreboard to be built. And we also believe that we have a commitment on the part of the Diamond Club, which is kind of a booster organization, if you will, for the baseball program, the high school's baseball program, that is also interested in doing some additional upgrades to the baseball complex. And when I say additional, they have been very instrumental in a new sod infield project at that site. They have been responsible for working with the high school coaching staff to install that public outfield fence that gets put up for the season and taken down. And then the last project, the more recent one was, the infield replacement was the most recent one. The one before that was the new batting cages. And so they're interested in supplementing the $5,000 that would go toward the scoreboard to raise the additional funds to replace the scoreboard at the baseball too. So I think there's a nice win-win here. It could be some school department, potentially some school department contribution, some corporate sponsorship, some booster organization work to supplement the cost. And I think it's just kind of a nice three-way partnership to really add something nice to both complexes, softball and baseball. So Michael, I don't know, you saw the letter that Michael wrote to Rachel Gallery at the Savings Bank. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I think Mr. Bernard, Superintendent Bernard said it well. I think it's a good opportunity to capture some needed upgrades at both fields, create some sense of equity. Certainly a good addition to the softball field complex. Just as a reminder, the Secondary School Building Committee at a recent meeting adopted the funding to fund up to $35,000 to bring that softball field complex to a completion. And the addition of a scoreboard, the installation of a scoreboard was one of a few other projects, one would be the dugout enclosures, PA sound system and so forth. That would certainly bring the softball field with the same amenities similar to that in the baseball field. So the opportunity kind of came up in the conversation that Superintendent Bernard and I had with the members of the Savings Bank, potentially, they decided to sponsor two new scoreboards for both fields. So we do feel like it's a good opportunity. Certainly the funding for the softball field, this would just essentially, this donation would help. The funding is certainly there through what the Secondary School Building Committee has committed to. This would help reduce that amount, and that was a request that was made by the members of that committee at the end of the meeting. So that it would be certainly good news that we may not need to spend up to that full $35,000 allotment that was voted at that meeting. And then through conversations we have had with the North Reading High School baseball coach, Mr. Eric Archibald, and I think we're confident we can come up with the necessary funding between a combination of some sponsorship, maybe some funding by the school department and the funds that are available in the baseball team as either fundraising with the have gotten club support, additional donation to make the baseball and school board happen as well.
Thank you very much. Comments, questions?
Yeah, just a quick question for John. As a town, do we have a track record of sponsored things in the school system?
Not to this extent. This is a bit unique, both in its scope and in its financial contribution. We haven't seen,
It's really, I guess it's yeah.
No, we get people that donate.
Sure.
You know, but I think the extent of this project with the advertising, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's a little bit. The only other thing I could think of, but it really was a Parks and Rec sponsorship, is the banners that are at the turf field. You know, the vinyl banners for different businesses that have contributed money. But for the school department per se, I really can't think. I can't.
No, not to this extent, certainly.
Yeah.
Wasn't the football scoreboard at one point had a sponsorship on it? Like maybe 10 years ago or something?
Prior to the turf field? Yeah, I think actually the baseball one does now too. I think the baseball has like a Coke logo.
There is.
Diet Coke or something. I don't know how it's been there for years, yeah.
And then, yeah, just one other question on that
But you
note.
might be right, Jim.
How does it work? Is it we have their logo for X period of time, or until we on our own decide to replace that?
Right now, it would be, there's no restriction on the time.
Okay.
You know, I think the
As long
spirit.
as that scoreboard's up there.
Yeah, and I think until such time as maybe it needs to, the sign itself either, fades. I mean, it's going to be done professionally by the same company that does the school goods, I would think. But there's a lifespan to it that's reasonable.
Sure.
I would certainly feel like, when we get a gift like this, any gift we get, it's not unusual for the school department to then assume some sort of maintenance responsibility. But to the degree, I could envision in 10 years, let's say, if it needed to be replaced with a sponsorship sign, I would suggest reaching out to them and say, like, we want to continue. Right. So that it looks presentable for their organization too.
Right.
Great. Cindy.
Along that line, what's the status of the signage for the electric sign in front of Perry Park?
Oh, the marquee?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good question. I got, believe it or not, the quote I got for a replacement that I think would be the right sign to put there, somebody else might feel differently, but I think the design I saw was, there's a sign at Masconomet High School that I thought was very nice. It's a programmable digital sign. It's not like the manual changing the letters like that. Believe it or not, that was $65,000. Yeah. Now, there were variations of that, and, it might be down the road, somebody may pursue to go in a different direction. But basically what's been happening is you probably know, like a lot of the graduating classes over the last few years have been contributing sizable amounts of money, in the thousands of dollars, but we're still a far cry away from getting, maybe not even the $65,000 sign, but, there's still quite a bit away from having enough money to be able to do that. I have tried over the years to cajole some folks where I thought there might be a place for, a little scratching of the back, if you will, but I haven't been successful. I mean, there's not a lot of glitz to it for a sponsor, so to speak.
Yeah, and I feel a little differently about having a sponsorship on that sign. This is more of a high school sign, right?
It is.
Yeah. Maybe I could be talked out of it, I don't know, I didn't think about it, but it has a different feel than a sports scoreboard where I share your thoughts.
I don't disagree. The one that I pursued most recently was, you might recall that Eleanor Dell, that trust fund that was gifted to the school department was a total like $670,000. I tried to present a case for the advertising of the arts would be something that sign would be used for, and would that fit within the scope of Eleanor Dell's wishes, but the trustees didn't see it that way, which I respected, but I gave it a shot.
And there were some former school committee members that I think wanted to do it more last time.
We
reached out to. And my only questions on this one were, number one, I also wanted to make sure that, like, if we need to replace it, we don't have an obligation to put that the same advertisement up again, or if it falls into
disrepair.
Yeah, disrepair, we need, because again, it could take money to, oftentimes you need to replace the whole thing again rather than just do it. So I want to make sure there's no obligation. The size seems, again, I mean, to me, the size looked a little bit large. I mean, it's half of the regular sizes, but.
The dimensions on there?
Yeah, the dimensions are on there, but it's like 3 feet versus the sign is 6 feet, and it seemed a little bit big. And the only other thing I wanted to make sure is, because obviously, like you mentioned, it costs a lot more than the donation that the Saving Bank is making, as substantial as that is. Just wanted to make sure that none of the other organizations, like the Diamond Club or whatever, wouldn't be expecting it either. So you showed it. Yeah, I just want to make sure that they're the only, because again, if the Diamond Club gives,
Expecting like a.
well, some sort of
advertisement?
signage as well, like,
No.
just want to make sure that like it's okay that like they're the only one up there, even though other people are really giving.
We actually gave them the mock-up.
We did.
We gave it to
Okay.
Eric Ashenberg to present to the guy. He has a similar drawing.
Okay, I just want to make sure that they,
Yeah.
because again, obviously a lot of people are giving donations here, and
Absolutely.
we want to make sure that we wouldn't be including one donor or something and not the others.
The others,
So,
It does come with a 10-year warranty.
the sign. school,
Yes,
yeah.
correct.
yeah, I mean, I would just make sure it's kind of for that length of time.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, my agenda says presentation and discussion.
Yeah,
so
I just think
don't we have
if
to
there's no
set-
objection, we'll just,
Yeah.
we'd like to, knowing Michael like I do, I think we'll probably place the order tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or tonight.
Well, they probably want to do it before the end.
We want to try to have it all in place for this
Yeah,
morning.
and they probably want to do it before the end of the year.
Is most, that's when we know we have the funding for it, some,
Yeah.
a little bit more work, just for funding for the baseball one.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be, it's the idea is, have a little system, right?
I appreciate you guys doing the work to try to
No,
secure the
we're
funding,
grateful.
so.
Yeah, it was a great meeting. Yeah,
And thank you to the Savings Bank for
Yeah,
absolutely stepping up and offering that, so. Okay. For minutes, then we have to handle the November 18th executive session. Oh,
Well, we need to vote, but before we go into.
well, it doesn't say a vote on it though, did it? I don't think it has a vote.
You need to vote, I don't think you need to vote on the sign.
Oh,
Given
okay.
your policy. No.
All right, so before we go into the minutes, we made an amendment to approve an copy, and I thought you mentioned it was October 18th that we approved it.
November.
Well, you said no.
And I just looked over the minutes and there's nothing in there, so it must have been November
Almost been
4th.
November 4th.
That's my only clarification.
Okay, so I'll look it up and see.
So do we want to, it was November 4th.
Okay,
So do we want to go back and just,
to make the amendment
Yeah,
amended
redo.
to the November 4th.
Yeah,
because I
why don't we
wasn't
do
sure.
that motion then?
Make a motion to amend my previously stated amendment, amending the date from 11/18 to 11/4.
Second. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, 4-0. Thank you. Good job, Mrs. Imbriana.
If we're gonna cross the
Detailed person.
T's and dot the I's, we might as well do it.
Okay, so 11/18, I don't know why Cindy made the error about the location of the hockey event in there, but. Okay, want to start with the executive session?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the executive session of November 18th as written.
A second. Okay, any comment or changes on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. The open session.
I'll make a motion to accept the regular open session of November 18th as written.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. For budget, Michael said that it wouldn't be a meeting without a long budget presentation, so he's prepared a PowerPoint for 2 years. Any budget updates to report?
Not this evening.
Okay. We're reserving them all for Dr. Daly's first meeting. Staffing, any reports?
No, sir.
Bids and donations? I didn't see a packet. Or a packet now?
There was.
There's no packet.
I think that's only the second meeting. Yeah.
All we got was $10,000.
That's all we got.
Oh, that's true, too.
Okay.
We will, there, at some point when the check comes.
Okay.
Obviously, we'll accept that as a.
And they should probably come.
Obviously have them
I've never held a big check if somebody wants to bring a big check, just saying.
They'll bring the check.
I've never held a big check, so.
Yeah.
I don't know how I pass up this great promotional opportunity of appearing on the
Let's think about it.
townwide broadcast of
Nothing gets you on the transcript like a big check, so. Subcommittee update, Fine Arts Subcommittee, Mr. McGowan, Mr. Capovaselli. Is that right? No. One of these days I'm going to get it right.
Yeah, we had a very productive meeting of the Fine Arts Committee. We spoke about, really, it's kind of an evolving process of figuring out what the voice of the committee is, but it's a wonderful opportunity to hear the concerns and thoughts of the different fine arts leaders in the school system. And there was much excitement about what was then upcoming, the music band.
Do they have enough microphones? No, I know that was like one of the issues. They were purchasing mics for a while. Do they have enough microphones for?
I haven't heard that they've done.
Yeah.
We used some money from a trust fund back maybe like
A year ago.
We bought like some of those lavalier microphones. Yeah.
I felt like this show would shed a high number of
Yeah, you could hear everybody.
people like that.
You thought it was good?
Yeah. I just didn't know how many they had.
And I will tell you that, and there was also some funds earmarked through the building project, of which there is still a balance in the account. And many times I have said, look at it, that money to both Kyle and Allison, Kyle Lister and Allison Kane, if you guys need something, we need something, there are funds available. And they're pretty
Is the
good.
money specifically for the
For like
performing arts?
for AV, for like any kind of media, yeah.
I think we should talk about that.
There's a pretty good amount of money.
I don't
I
want
think
to
it's about
spend it.
$17,000, if I'm not mistaken, give or take.
When they talk about wiring the gym or something too, but I think
There was. There was talk of that, yeah.
Before that goes away, it might be worth making sure they have whatever they need.
Yeah, and one of the things that occurs to me is mics that are good at picking up concerts and things where not everybody's personally mic.
Yeah, do they call it like a boom mic?
Yeah.
You just got like a range to it.
There's all types.
Yeah.
And they might appreciate the variety.
So there is, that's a good, if you guys could remember that for the next meeting, it might be a good thing to go back to and say, look, are you still in need? So.
I know the elementary one last year, I know that they had a limit on how many they had, and people had to stand close to other people that had mics in order to be heard. And so some kids that were not like looking the right way, they weren't with them. So obviously the high school is a little bit better. I know they were the mics on. Okay.
I just want to say in 1982, we were doing all our shows with no mics. Everybody could hear fine.
Okay, NORCAM Board of Directors, Mr. McGowan.
Boy, I tell you, I was 5 minutes late for a meeting that went 10 minutes, so it's very quiet in the NORCAM front at the moment. Nothing really to report there.
Okay. Policy Subcommittee?
Could I just add something about NORCAM? So I asked Patrick to be my guest in my last taping of Inside NRPS, and I think it was where did we go, Patrick, a week ago Friday, I think? So that should be coming up soon. It usually takes a couple of weeks, but it was a nice opportunity for Patrick to share with the community some of his thoughts about becoming the superintendent in office. So I appreciate, I don't know how many I've done over the years, but...
What's your highest viewership?
Yeah. What is the highest viewership?
I don't think they keep track.
Well, you have YouTube views, right?
Yeah, they do. There are YouTube views. I will tell you.
They have their own numbers. Yeah, exactly. You can't really get the right number.
I have been surprised over the years how many people have said to me.
I saw that.
I don't want to make it sound like it's watching the Patriots game, but I'm just surprised that,
You're surprised at anybody, right?
Yeah, I really kind of have been,
I mean, in truth, I say I watch it, but I'm just kidding. Okay, Policy Subcommittee?
It'll be our final meeting with John.
It's like a 2-minute drill, better than the Patriots 2-minute drills.
No huddle. It's a no huddle offense.
No huddle offense.
And we've got one section left, and I think we're going to do it with room to spare.
Thursday.
Subcommittee schedule, Athletic Subcommittee, December 11th, 12:30 p.m. Superintendent's Conference Room. Policy, December 12th, 3:30, Superintendent's Conference Room. Finance Planning Team is this Friday at 8:15 a.m. It's in the Town Hall, remember?
Yes, I know.
Bring it there. Substance Abuse Coalition, December 17th at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. at the North Reading Police Station. NORCAM Board of Directors, December 19th, 7 p.m. at NORCAM office. Fine Arts Subcommittee, February 6th at 2:30 p.m. at the Superintendent's Conference Room. Administrative report, anything?
So, Mr. Chairman, I have just a quick handout that I'm going to give to all of you. So, in the work of the policy subcommittee with Mr. McGowan and Mr. Papavassilio, there have been a couple of things we've unearthed that have not been getting done and should be getting done. Unfortunately, I don't think any of them are it's been critical that they haven't, but one that comes to mind is about sharing the coaching appointments with the school committee. And another one we unearthed recently was informing the school committee of the offices of the various kind of booster/support groups that exist, and they do good work to supplement the budget for the various schools, and also programs like the Music Boosters, Friends of Point Productions, and our Special Education Parent Advisory Council. So I asked my administrative assistant, Ann, to put together a spreadsheet for you. This is the list of offices for 2019.
And we said, enough with this administrative malfeasance. We don't want you back for another meeting after this one.
We made it almost to the policy manual. Only two things we found. Not bad. And that actually, I think the work of the policy subcommittee has been pretty efficient.
I don't want to say that that's because I started in on May.
But say all looks as good as an hour.
Well, we probably, I was going to say, we probably had the advantage of Scott having gone through this 2 years ago and finding all the nits to fix. So.
Well, when we would go through, we just basically went through the MASC stuff then.
Which is extensive.
Janine actually read them in advance.
Oh, okay.
I would let Janine lead even while I read it. So.
Well, barring another update coming from MASC or the committee desiring to institute a new policy, I think that policy manual after we meet in December, and if there's a change or two that comes forward in January or any update, that really should be in very good shape for a few years.
Yeah, I think we've talked about, Chris and I have talked about, if we need policies to support some of our initiatives or something like that, we'll obviously.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's fair to say you've pretty much dummy-proofed it for the next superintendent?
I think you could say that.
I don't think he's listening anyways, it doesn't matter.
Because he's going to be fine selected here, and he'll do just fine in this job.
Okay, future business, we have a meeting at the high school, the high school presentation at the Distance Learning Lab, January 13th. It would be the first meeting for Dr. Daly. The regular meeting, January 27th, at the Batchelder School. And then February 10th, we have a regular meeting at the Distance Learning Lab. So I would just say, we come to a conclusion, we said it before, but you will be missed, Mr. Bernard. Really appreciate all that you have given to us. I know that we have an inexperienced school committee right now, but we try, and I think you lead us very well. And even though we're supposed to be helping lead you, but you do a great job, and you will be missed.
You've all been extremely kind, and it has been a pleasure. And I feel most confident in how I lead things for all of you, and have the utmost confidence in the ability to continue to work with you. So I'll have a lot more to say, as I've said, in the coming weeks, and then again in January. But suffice it to say that I have been extremely grateful to have had this opportunity. So thank you.
I think most of us can make it to the roast, your retirement party.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, ladies. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for always being so positive. Appreciate that very much. Thank you.
If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to dismiss.
I so move.
I second.
Okay, I'm really not in favor of leaving you, so I think I might vote against this, but all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Nay. So it passes 3-1.
I should have said nay.